I'd never understood the symmetry, the beauty, how compelling, the simplicity of this great wisdom if you begin to apply it, if you begin to see and find your own essential nature. And your own essential nature is just like all of other nature. You're a part of nature, and yet what we have done is ignored our nature so frequently. Our nature has nothing to do with violence. It has nothing to do with weapons. It has nothing to do with killing. It has nothing to do with enemies. These are all constructs of the ego, of the false self. We come from a place of perfection, a place of kindness, a place of love creation. Learn to think like God thinks. That's what Einstein said when they asked him about quantum physics. They said his observation was, he said to me that there's just detail. He said, all I want to do is learn to think like God thinks. How does the source from which all things originate, to which all things return, how does it think? How does it act? That's what Lao meant when he said we have an essential nature. And these virtues inside of our essential nature are nothing more. There's 4 of them. They're nothing more than reverence for all of life. If you can live that reverence for all of life, sincerity which manifests itself as honesty, just simple honesty. Not that you don't steal, but the kind of honesty in which you are able to relate to and reflect who you are with everyone that you meet from a place of internal integrity. That this is who I am, this is how I dress, this is how I live, this is what I think. Gentleness is the 3rd of these virtues in the T and the doubted chain. Simple gentleness which manifests itself as kindness. And finally, service, which is nothing more than just reaching out and serving others. And in the unknown teachings of Lao called the Hu Qing, I'm going to read something to you that is one of the most impactful things that I've ever heard in my life. And I'd like you to really think about it big time. Many of you know about something that raged across the country a year or so ago called The Secret. And it had some great lessons in it about the power of our thoughts to align with the thoughts of God, and in doing so to be able to manifest and attract into our lives what we would like. And I was asked to be a part of that, and I turned it down because I think they missed something. They missed what I'm about to share with you. In fact, yesterday for the very first time, I was able to preview something that I undertook this summer at the age of 68, when I was asked if I would do a film, a movie for movie theaters, not a talking heads movie, not a movie in which I'm just interviewed and talking like I'm doing now, but an actual film with the real people in it. 92 of them, to be exact, starring Portia Diassi, who is Ellen DeGeneres' spouse. And I had the great honor on the 16th of August this year when they both asked me in their quiet, cutest way you've ever seen at Ellen's home if I would marry them. And I did. We were in the midst of filming this movie called Ambition to Meaning. I saw it yesterday, the first rough cut for the whole thing, and watched it with Maya in my room here at the hotel. And Maya was sobbing and couldn't contain her enthusiasm. It absolutely blew me away. You'll be able to see it in January. It's a little over 2 hours, and it's a drama. And it takes what I think was missing from The Secret and puts it into 3 concurrent running stories and teaches people that this idea of aligning ourselves with our spirit with God is not about what's in it for us. It's not about saying I want this or I want that. And it's not about selfishness. And it's not about attracting into your life more of the stuff of the ego. It's about something very different. And this is how Lao put it in the oral teachings of the 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching. If you wish to become a divine immortal angel, then restore the angelic qualities of your being through virtue and service. This is the only way to gain the attention of the immortals who teach the methods of energy enhancement and integration that are necessary to reach the divine realm. If you want to reach the divine realm, if you want to know God, not about God, if you want to experience the opportunity to think like the Source, like the Tao, like God thinks, and have all that is possible to come into your life, come into it, then listen on these angelic teachers. This energy, this spiritual force, this guidance, these angels, whatever you want to call that guidance that comes to us from beyond. These angelic teachers that you seek out cannot be sought out. It is they who seek out the students. Do I ever know that to be true? Especially after giving up everything that I owned, everything and letting it all go and immersing myself for a year of my life in this process. When you succeed in connecting your energy with the divine realm through high awareness and the practice of undiscriminating virtue, the transmission of the ultimate subtle truth will follow. This is the path that all angels take to the divine realm. This is the path, the mystical techniques for achieving immortality, that is the ability to manifest and attract into your life at any moment. Anything at all that you would desire are revealed only to those who have dissolved all ties to the gross worldly realm of duality, conflict, and dogma. You have to dissolve your ties to this false self and the world that perpetuates it. As long as your shallow worldly ambitions exist, the door will not open. And that's what I think the secret missed. And that's what we tried to do in Ambition to Meaning. It's to get to that T in the Tao Te Ching, to get to that place where you live and practice the virtues that I just described. Reverence for all of life, just simple, never ever. Not only not killing other things, including animals and even plants and each other, but in not even judging each other. Patanjali, another great teacher from India 3 centuries before Christ, said that when you are steadfast, steadfast means you never slip. When you are steadfast in your abstention of thoughts of harm directed towards yourself and others, that all living creatures will cease to feel fear in your presence. Such was the nature of Saint Francis, of Jesus of Nazareth, of Lao, of Buddha. You are steadfast, fast. You never slip in your extension of thoughts of harm directed towards yourself and others, that all living creatures will cease to feel fear in your presence. There are people who, when they are in the presence of wild animals, they become tame. Babies stop crying. You see a person like that walk into the room and the energy of the room changes, and you feel comfortable and you feel safe, and you get a calm running up and down your back, just like having a warm shower running inside of you. Such is the nature of these people, and such is the nature of the source from which you originated and to which you will return. And of course, in A Course in Miracles, there's a line that Jesus says, "For those who believe that it was Jesus, and many do, whoever it was," Jesus says, "if you want to be like me, knowing that we are alike, I will help you. If you want to be different than me, I will wait until you change your mind, and you will change your mind. You may have to die to do it, but you will change your mind, because that's the place from which we originated that T.S. Eliot spoke about, where you'll come to know it for the first time when you live those simple virtues of reverence for all of life, never judging others, natural sincerity, just a simple honesty. This is who I am. Gentleness, which is just always extending kindness. And service, it's dissolving your ties to the gross worldly realm, just letting go of that. And one of the best ways to do it is to want less, to expect nothing for yourself, and anything that does come to you, to just let it flow, to give it away. And the more of that you do, the more you act like God acts. The great poet Hafiz, the Persian poet from the 13th century, said, "Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, 'You owe me.' Just think what a love like that can do. It lights up the whole world." And there's such a mystery in that we attempted to convey in this film. And I'm still so taken by the incredible acting job and the directors and all of the people who participated in this project of creating a film, a movie, an opportunity for people to finally see that it is through these virtues that the doors begin to open into your life in abundance. I'm telling you, I would urge you to not pay attention to all of the stuff on CNBC, which is all of the financial disaster possibilities, and checking your stock market and checking your 401ks and listening to the horror stories of all of the things and the collapse, the imminent collapse of our entire. You don't need any of this. Where do you think you're going? You came from nowhere, nowhere, that's where you came from, nowhere. Where do you think you're headed? You went from nowhere to now here in a split second, and it's the same thing. nowhere, it's just a little question of spacing. Nowhere, now here we are, and now here. Where do you think your next step is? Nowhere. You don't need a 401k. You don't need to be consumed with all of this stuff about money. This is, when we did this thing on Ambition to Meaning, I had a real sense as I listened to the results of the election that we can, as a people, we can also move from ambition to meaning as a people, not just in our own lives. Because in the morning of our lives, There's a line from Carl Jung in The Stages of Life, which is really what we open this film with. He says, "Thoroughly prepared, we take the step into the afternoon of life. Worse still, we take this step with the false presupposition that the truths and ideas will serve as hitherto. But he said we cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning. For what was great in the morning will be little at evening, and what in the morning was true will at evening have become a lie." If you try to run the time of your life when you are in the phase of meaning rather than ambition, based upon the program of what you were taught in the morning about ambition and about ego, you're going to be living a lie. So Jung, he speaks to us. Let me read it to you again in the light here. Thoroughly unprepared, we take the step into the afternoon of life. Unprepared into the afternoon of life is the time in your life when you shift from ambition and ego development to meaning. Worse still, we take this step with the false presupposition that our truths and ideas that we learned in the morning will serve us as hitherto. But we cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning. For what was great in the morning will be little at evening, and what in the morning was true will at evening have become a lie. If you're trying to find meaning and purpose and fulfillment and joy and peace and happiness in the afternoon of your life,